Hello, hello. How are you doing? It's not good over here. At least not for me. Um, but I should have seen this coming. Today is Tuesday, I think, April the 14th. It's the first day. Who are we kidding? It all feels like mush. But under what used to be normal circumstances, today would have been the first day back to school, work, routines, etc. After the Easter long weekend. It was a great weekend. 4 days without any pressure or expectation. I didn't have to worry about schooling. Hubby didn't have to go in to work. It was very relaxing and fun. And yeah, I got outside just for like the allowed daily walk. And it was nice. I came out of the weekend kind of last night. I was like gung-ho. I thought, yeah, I'm going to get back into it. We've been out of the mix for well over, about a month, I think. Technically, I don't count March break because that was a week that the kids weren't going to be getting any schooling anyway. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is only the beginning of the 4th week of quarantine. March break didn't count. But anyway, so it's almost a month. Done nothing. I have been struggling hardcore, as I've mentioned. And yeah, so survival has been the top priority. And up until last night, I came out of the long weekend and I thought, okay, this is it. We're going to do this. We're going to get into a routine. I'm going to start cooking and we're going to start homeschooling. And then I woke up with a migraine. Yeah. So I changed from pajamas to, well, I don't really consider these pajamas. They are super comfy, cozy, and some people might wear them as pajamas, but I get too hot when I sleep. So if I tried to wear these, I'd wake up like, literal, I could float out of bed. Yeah, so these have become like my comfy, cozy when I just need that extra. I wore this when I went in for like dental surgery. So I could just come right home and sleep if I'm sick, if I'm, whatever. You get the idea. Put these on today because I needed them. And I went back to bed for a little bit. Still a little. But that's not the point of this video. I wanted to share that just to commiserate in case anybody else is, because social media, we always try to share the best of our lives. So there's all those people out there gung-ho that they've, learned multiple languages and published books and, created a whole gallery's worth of art. And they're, their kids are in grade 5, but they're so well schooled, they're ready for college. And okay, that's fantastic if that's working for you. No judgment. I just want to be real. That's not where I'm at. And if you're in the same boat as me, you're in good company because this is tough, especially if you have any history with trauma. This is tough. But what I wanted to share with you today is the completion of one of the things that has kept me sane, and that is my miniature dollhouse. The dollhouse is so small that if Barbie had a dollhouse, this would be her house. And I'm proud of it. It looks awesome. I'm also a little ashamed of myself for the amount of detail that went into this thing, and you'll see. Kind of. Anyway, I shared the first half, kind of where I was at and what I was doing in a previous video, which I will link up there and down there. And I highly recommend that you check that out before checking this out, because this is a spoiler if you haven't seen that first video, let's dive right in. Ta-da! This is the dollhouse. I'll just pop down here for a second. Brief overview of the first floor, starting in the kitchen. And I've popped a couple miniature Polly Pocket size shoppies because they are the dolls that I initially thought I was building this house for. They turned out to be too small, but it still kind of works. So I have them sitting at the table in the fantastic little kitchen. Then I haven't decided what I'm going to call this room yet. It's kind of like a den, family room. I don't know, it's a little bit more of a formal seating area. Maybe I'll end up calling it the parlor. I like that. I always wanted a parlor. Anyway, so again, I put a couple shoppies in there just to show off the usability of this room. So I can set up little dolls and take toy photography, which I have always loved. I am still looking for the perfect picture to go on that wall. So this room is still technically pending, but it's good enough for now. Then the last room on the first floor is this entertainment or media room. I think I'll call it the entertainment room because I find books entertaining. Anyway, once again, there's a little shoppy lounging on the sectional sofa. Now I will remove her for just a minute. Something that I added that was not here last time is this little pillow, and that used to be the bed covering. I will explain more in just a minute. I also have a new picture. I don't know if it's gonna focus. There we go. I have a lovely picture in the entertainment room of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively that I clipped out of a People magazine for a family photo, personalization aspect. I actually really liked that picture because in the original photo, Blake Lively is wearing a yellow dress, which matched the overall aesthetic. But of course, in order to get it to fit in this room, I had to cut that off. The reason I wanted the picture is no longer there, but I like the geekiness. I don't know, I think that's cool. I think that if this was theoretically Ryan Reynolds' house, he would totally put a picture of himself and his wife over the couch. And if he ever found out that a fan of his put a little picture of himself and his wife in their dollhouse, I think he would find that hopefully oddly endearing and not just odd. But anyway, that room is now done. Okay, now we move on to the second floor. Okay, the first room that I got started was the bedroom. I had glued in the wall and the armoire, wardrobe, whatever you want to call it. And that's where that was it before. Since then, what I've done is rebuilt the bed, and this is what I had started working on in that last video. This is now bigger. I've used felt for a mattress and a pillow, and an old tank top that I really liked, partly because of the color and also because of these gorgeous sequins, and that is the bedspread. And I made this one like the last one so that a little doll could fit inside and go to sleep. So I didn't fix this down so I could take it out and put a doll in. That would have been pretty well impossible if I had glued the bed. So the bed is movable. Also in this room, I put a curtain. The curtain is the same fabric. It's just a piece without the sequins as the bedspread here. And for that one, I just cut a piece of fabric, sewed a little loop at the top, put a toothpick through the top for the curtain rod, and then 2 little beads at the end for the finials. Then I cut down, it's supposed to be down the center, it's a little off even, or it's a little uneven. I guess off even would work too, it just sounds weird. Anyway, once it's hung, you can't really tell. And I tied little bits of thread to keep the curtain open, and the bed just nestles right in there. There's also a tiny little bedside table, a lamp, which is made out of a pearl bead, a little paper lampshade, and just to hold it all together I used a little piece of toothpick. And then I put a painting. I like how it kind of looks like a body of water or something like that. That was cut from the same painting that the other paintings on the first floor came out of. And then there was a bunch of space at the top because of the little peaked roof, so I threw up some star stickers. That was one of my favorite things about my bedroom from when I was 18 were the glow-in-the-dark stars. So that's a nice little nod to those. And then over here I made a little art studio, and I put up a sticker to be like a wall decal. There's a couple tiny little pictures at the back which are like photographs, and then a hand-drawn sketch. Yes, that's right, I drew that, of a little eyeball. I just went with an eyeball. I wanted to do something, but I couldn't think of what. I ended up going with an eyeball because that has always been my go-to sketch, or one of my go-to sketches, are quasi-realistic eyeballs. And then I have a easel. At the back there is a little basket that I made out of canvas. I stuck inside a little sketch pad and crayons. The crayons are just a sticker that I stuck on top of foam and then cut that out so it would look a little bit more 3D, but without, because that's tiny. I let the sticker do the work for me. But I think these are pretty cool. So I made 3 of these sketch pads in total. On this one, I stuck a little sticker of a pencil because that would have been way too small to try and make. But these little sketch pads actually open up and are technically functional. Yeah. And then I also made this little foam poof that a doll can sit on, and the way I have it orientated, because these little dolls with their big heads and tiny feet are quite top heavy, so I have the poof orientated in such a way that when you eventually get the doll seated, she kind of leans against, there we go, she kind of leans against the screen so she doesn't fall over. And this I didn't glue in, and this I didn't glue in, because what I love about the little easel is it's quasi-functional as well. You can actually put different pieces inside. So we can start with a plain white canvas, or like the background has already been painted, the aqua color, or I could put an actual, mini painting or sketch or whatever. But we'll leave that like that for now. And as I mentioned before, there's a screen. The printables, the little kit that I used from my Froggy stuff. Forgot to give her her props. I mentioned in the first video that the printables on this house, all the backgrounds, the flooring, the ceiling, all of that came from my Froggy Stuff's blog, and I'll link that below in case you would like to print your own printables and make your own little house. It's just cardboard, or you could use foam board, cardstock, anything like that. And everything else inside, those are all my own creations, all the furniture and everything else, inspired by other miniature artists, but all created by me. So just wanted to put that out there. In the original, there were printables for 2 walls, so this could have been a wall just like this, but I didn't like how closed in that felt, and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to utilize the art studio with another wall. So instead what I did is put in a screen. I'll admit this. Originally I wasn't going to put anything in, but I used clear tape because I plasticated everything, laminated it so that it would look like a plastic dollhouse, but also so it would be more durable. And I didn't like the idea of someone looking in the window and seeing the doll sleeping. Yes, you heard that right. I was concerned about my miniature doll's privacy. Oh, I have cracked. Anyway, so I put up a little screen. I always wanted one of these as well, so I'm kind of living vicariously through this little doll. This is made with tissue paper that had or still has, a unicorn motif, and I like how it's the aqua and purple, which is kind of the theme up here, although you notice I did add yellow and yellow to sort of aqua or teal, purple, and yellow are sort of the colors that go throughout this entire house and sort of unify the color scheme, but I digress. So this is made with toothpicks that I obviously cut off the sharp pointy bits because, you know, don't want anybody getting injured. And then I wrapped the tissue paper around at the ends and glued it in the middle to create a little paper privacy screen. Now let's move on to the bathroom. There's the bathroom. I'm not proud of myself, and yet I really am. Okay, so in this room I have some more stickers for wall decals. I have a little tinfoil mirror, and the first thing, okay, so I wanted to put a tub in this room, but I couldn't find anything that would work. So I put that project off to the side, and I started working on a toilet, which is gosh darn cute, if I do say so myself, and has a working lid, and you can't see it, so I don't know why I did it, but if you were able to look inside, I put a piece of paper at the bottom. Before I stuck it down, I colored a little black part to make it look like the out of the toilet into the plumbing, and then I piped in a bunch of hot glue to represent water. And I realized how foolish that is because you can't even see it because it's such a tiny bathroom. After I made that, I couldn't figure out what to do for the sink. I was having some issues with that, so I put that project on the back burner and made a toilet paper roll. There's a real teeny tiny roll of cardboard with, I used tissue paper because, you know, toilet paper is like gold right now. I didn't want to waste it. So I used a little strip of facial tissue as toilet paper. And as you can see, the toilet paper comes over the top, not behind, because we are civilized and we do things right in this house. Okay, then the next thing I finished was the sink. This was a piece of, what was that a piece of? A piece of tinfoil, but I can't remember from what. That's not important. I used the top of my Daisy Duck pen to shape the tinfoil and kind of like pushed and smoothed and hammered it out with my fingers. And then glued that onto a miniature craft owl that was wrapped in white paper for like the porcelain-ish base. Glued on a teeny tiny little faucet, which was made with a which was made with a paper clip, 2 little beads for hot and cold taps, and then you can't really see inside, but I put a little dot with a marker. Oh, there you can kind of see it for like the drain. And gluing that in place was a huge headache. I think I had to do that like 5 times before I got it like that. I'm still not 100% thrilled with it, but I'm done. I'm not doing it again. And then the crowning jewel of this bathroom is the tub, which, is that not amazing? That looks like some galvanized steel. When this started, I was going to use, I had a little, it's like a bottle cap. I can't remember what it was a cap for, but I had a little silver cap. It was perfectly round, way too big. I was going to use that at first, but I didn't like the round. I wanted it more of like an oval shape. So, nope, scrap that idea. Then I was going to use the wrapper from an Easter candy, because I thought, well, that's foil and I can shape that easily enough. It wasn't strong enough. The shape kept getting all weird. So nope, that wasn't going to work. So what I ended up doing is I found, by a wonderful happenstance, these are twist ties from like Halloween treat bags. And they're, you know how they come like connected. So you can have, like, there's a whole stack of them all attached. So I just ripped off 3 because that was the perfect height for the tub. Carefully, because they were only held on by little perforations, so you had to still be careful. But I shaped it into this little shape, and I had, the base of this. Okay, so after I scrapped the bottle top, I was going to use a tea light candle, the little container that the tea light candle's in, because it's like a metal as well. So I was going to use that, but that looked horrible. In order to get it to be that shape, I had to like crisscross, and then it looked ratchet. It was not nice. But I liked the base of it. The base looked really nice, and I had formed the perfect shape. So the base of the tub is the bottom of the tea light holder, and then I just wrapped the twist ties around it. There is one spot where I glued together, but I was able to hide it back here. That still wasn't very secure, so I ended up going back to the Easter candy wrapper and put that on the inside, glued that together, and then with both paint and Mod Podge, I was able to smooth and like combine, like glue everything together. And yeah, I don't know if any of this makes sense, but that's what I ended up doing. And then I glued on the same thing as the sinks. As previously mentioned, there's a paperclip faucet and bead taps in the bottom of the tub, which of course you can't see anyway. I used, before I glued the tub in, I used a little marker to put a drain in the bottom of the tub as well. And then this is glued in. Again, it's a little fiddly. There we go. The dolls do fit in the bathtub, and they're not terribly difficult to get back out. To finish off the bathroom, I used a little piece of purple felt and cut that into a rounded corner square. I guess it's kind of rectangular. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Glued that on the floor for a little bath mat, and there you have it. There's the bathroom. Oh, forgot to mention, on the roof, again, because I was worried about the privacy of my dolls, the roof is made up of two parts so that you don't see, basically so you get like the clean lines. This part here, so you get a nice outer edge, wraps around, and then so you don't see that wrap around, there's a part that goes here for the ceiling, and then it sandwiches together. It's recommended that you glue the ceiling piece on a piece of card and the roof piece on like a little stack of cards so it's thick, and then you glue those together. And before I glued those together, I sandwiched a piece of tissue paper between the layers, and then again plasticated it with tape, so it's got that plastic dollhouse protected look, but also this really pretty, like a stained glass kind of effect. And I specifically chose the mermaid scale tissue paper that I have to go with the watery, mermaidy kind of theme that the bathroom has. So there you have it. My completed miniature dollhouse. This is how I spent the better part of the last 3 weeks in the vain attempt to keep myself sane. Whether or not I have any sanity after this is up for debate. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. And now I don't know what I'm going to do to keep myself occupied for the rest of, I know it's called quarantine, but I read recently that someone was reframing it as exile for the good of the realm. And I like that. So I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of my exile. I don't know how long the realm is going to need me to be exiled. But hopefully something will come up soon. So that's what I've been up to. And I would love to know in the comments. Let me know, what have you been up to? Now that this project is done, I'm going to be looking for something else to do. So I would love, inspiration, suggestions. Feel free to share with myself and anybody else who reads the comments what you're doing, and, maybe we can inspire each other. And if you like miniatures, if you take doll photography yourself, feel free to share that with me as well. I post all this stuff as well on Instagram, and I'm at Time for Tiff. Tag me. I would love to see it. So something else I've been working on is my Wreck This Journal series. It's going to be a series. Oh yeah. I think I've got 6 videos in the can. I think so. And there's more to come. But I'm not posting those until they're pretty well done. Except for the first one that I've posted, which is the draw everything in your pocket / what's in my bag, which I've already posted. And I'll link that up above and down below, so you can check that out if you'd like. The rest of them are coming. I just, for myself, it needs to be pretty well done before I post the rest, because I would feel so unfulfilled if I started posting them and then forgot about it or got distracted or wasn't able to or whatever, and then just sort of left it hanging. That would be like my unfinished sentence, and nope, can't do it. I'm gonna get them all ready to go before I post, but we're getting there. This was supposed to be a short video. Nope. We'll see what happens in editing, but yeah. I've mentioned it before, and I will probably say it again. This is why I don't love unscripted videos, because I don't know when to stop. Anyway, thank you as always for hanging out with me, lovelies. Especially during this time, I appreciate any love that this video gets, any love that any of my videos get, and I hope you're doing okay. I'm sending you love as well. Safe hugs from a distance. Anyway, ooh, I think supper's ready. I'm gonna go and eat now. Have you eaten? If you haven't eaten, this is your mom reminding you. Go and eat. Don't forget to drink some water. Have you pooped yet today? Okay, no. Okay, clearly I'm feeling a little bit better. I think the migraine, no. Maybe. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. We've already long since passed the point of awkward. So, we're done for today. I'll see you in my next video, whenever that is. And until then, I hope you stay safe. I hope you stay sane. And as always, I hope you stay fabulous. Take care.